Welcome to Evaluating Expressions. So let's start with some vocabulary. What is an algebraic expression? It is an expression that contains one or more variables. So now we're given some letters, we're given some variables, and it's an algebraic expression just because it has letters. But we will get values for these letters. So they're going to tell us, for example, like x is 5 and y is -3. So to evaluate, we have to substitute the variables with their given values and then follow the agreed upon order of operations. So in the last problems we were doing before algebraic expressions, those were called numerical expressions because we just straight up did the order of operations to find the value. Well, now we have an extra level. There are variables involved, and before we can do anything, we have to plug values in for those variables and then follow the order of operations. So one thing I'd like to let you know is to put parentheses when you plug in, okay? So when you plug in a value for a variable, use parentheses to show that that's where that variable was and that's where that new value is. So let me show you what I mean by that. Here we have 7x plus 4y, and we need to evaluate this expression if x is 5 and y is -3. So notice that x is multiplying with 7 and y is multiplying with 4, and then they get added together. So I'm going to open up parentheses where the variables were, and now I'm going to substitute. So x is equal to 5 and y is equal to -3. So instead of 7 times x, it's 7 times 5, and instead of 4 times y, it's 4 times -3. Now I follow the order of operations agreement. So we will be multiplying before we add. So 35 plus -12, and 35 plus -12 plus negative is subtraction. So that is 35 minus 12, again, plus negative is subtraction. We don't do double signs, so a plus and a minus is a minus. Plus negative represents minus. And 35 minus 12 is 23. So now we have evaluated if x equals 5 and y equals -3. Now let's look at example 2. 9a squared minus 2b squared if a is 4 and b is 7. So watch how I'm going to open up those parentheses where the letters used to be. So instead of 9a squared, it's 9 parentheses squared. And instead of 2b squared, it's 2 parentheses squared. That's where a used to be, and that's where b used to be. And now we're going to drop our values in for a and b. So a is 4 and b is 7, and we're going to carefully follow the order of operations agreement. So we have multiplication, but we also have exponents, and we have multiplication and we also have exponents, and we have subtraction. So first and foremost must go our exponents. So that has to happen first before anything else can happen. So let's take care of that. 9 is not multiplying to 4, but it is multiplying to 4 squared, also known as 16. 2 is not multiplying to 7, guys, but it is multiplying to 7 squared, which is 49. And that was us taking care of our exponents. That has to happen first. Now we can take care of our multiplication of 9 times 16, which is 144, and 2 times 49, which is 98. And 144 minus 98 is 46. So again, parentheses everywhere there the variable was located and replacing the variable with its value, and then we're back to following the order of operations. Let's try number 5 on this page. So we have AB multiplying, and that's squared, minus 4 multiplying to b to the third, and that's plussing with 1, and a is equal to 3, and b is equal to 2. So I'm going to be very careful here in my replacing of the letters. So here it's AB. That is A multiplying to B. So I'm going to go ahead and write 3 multiplying to 2, since A is 3 and B is 2. 4 is multiplying to B to the third power. So 4 is multiplying to 2 to the third power, and then plussing with 1. We need to be careful to follow our order of operations. So let's take care of the math inside the parentheses first. 3 times 2 is 6. That's being squared. Okay, so I took care of that math in the parentheses. Next, I have some exponents I need to take care of. Looks like I have one right here and right here. Oh, I probably shouldn't have done that. Okay, let's do it this way. We got one right here and one right here. So 6 squared is 36 minus 4 times 2 to the third, because that exponent has to happen before the multiplication. 2 to the third is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. That's adding to 1. Next, I need to take care of this multiplication. So 36 minus 32 plus 1. And now we will go from left to right. 36 take away 32 is 4. And 4 plus 1 is 5. Next on this page, I'd like to try number 8. Okay, so we have 2/3 multiplying to x squared minus 5 multiplying to x plus 8. And we're going to evaluate if x is equal to 6. So let's start with plugging in. 2/3 is multiplying to x squared minus 5 times x plus 8. And I opened up my parentheses everywhere x was located. And let's plug in. X is 6, x is 6. Okay? So following the order of operations, we cannot multiply before we square. Exponents come before multiplication. So squaring that 6 to get 36 minus 5 times 6 plus 8. All I took care of was the exponent. Now I can take care of multiplication. I have multiplication in 2 places, once here and once here. So let me make that over 1. That's reduce and multiply to make that 24 minus 30 plus 8. And 24 minus 30, we're going from left to right obviously here because it's addition subtraction. 24 minus 30 is negative 6, plus that to 8 to make a positive 2. Now on this page, I would like you to complete 3, 4, 6, and 7. And I'm going to go ahead and give you the answers so you know what your goal is for each one. For number 3, the answer is 6. For number 4, the answer is negative 40. Ooh, that has a negative. Be very careful there. For number 6, the answer is 70. And for number 7, the answer is 55. And 7 also has a negative. So really important. Actually, let's do one with a negative. Let's grab 7. And then you can do the other 3. So let's grab 7 here because it has a negative substitutor. So we're looking at w minus v squared plus 2 times v minus 7 times w. Oh, I don't want to write w. I just want to put a parentheses. Minus 7 times w. If w is negative 4 and v is 1. So w minus v. W minus v. Make sure that's w. Yes, that's minus, and that's v. Okay, perfect. So that's w minus v. Oh, all right. W minus v plus 2 times v. 2 times v. Minus 7 times w, negative 4. Okay, so we're trying to get 55 here. So our order of operations, hopscotch here so we can see it. We do have math inside this parentheses, so let's take care of that. Negative 4 take away 1 is negative 5. That's going to get squared. Plus 2 times 1 minus 7 times negative 4. So let's take care of the exponent. Negative 5 squared is positive 25 because it's negative 5 times negative 5 plus 2 times 1 minus 7 times negative 4. Now I can take care of the multiplication. So 25 is going to plus with 2, and it's going to minus with a minus 28. Now again, this minus 28 comes from the fact that 7 is multiplying to negative 4. And bring down my subtraction. So 7 times negative 4 is negative 28. So minus 28. Now I have a double sign, and we don't want double signs. So a minus minus double sign is an addition. So let's rewrite this to 25 plus 2 plus 28. 25 plus 2 is 27, and 27 plus 28 does equal 55. Now, when I give you the answers, I want you to show me, don't stop here, I want you to show me all the way down to the fact that the 27 plus 28 equals 55. So this one was a little different because of the negative, but the process was exactly the same. You just had to think a little bit with our signs. So try 3, 4, and 6. If you are stumbling across the way and you're having a tough time getting to these answers, write some questions to yourself on the side so that you can ask them during class. Thank you for watching. Thank you for learning.